Hey, hello, and welcome to the live stream. Welcome everyone. Nice to see you after quite a long time. It has actually been quite a long time since I streamed last time. I think I think last time I was live either with Debbie from Playwright or no, actually I think it was Jonathan from Checkly. Yeah. Long time no see. Sorry about that. There has been a lot happening in my life, and I've been trying to get slowly back on track with this content creation. And those of you who have followed me probably noticed that I did do some content creation recently. Uh, it hasn't been all Cypress, and I mentioned this at the beginning of year. I don't want to be doing only Cypress, although that is something I'm still kind of doing. I still want to do because Cypress is so freaking cool. So I am going to continue with that. But I do want to expand in some other topics. And one of the topics that I have been, talking about recently, if you if you have by any chance followed my blog, is different kind of replay tools. So Cypress, yeah, Cypress rules. Cypress is ahead of like a very big update. Maybe you have noticed um, this big update. It's called Test Replay. Maybe I can find it. Did I have a blog on it? Let me see. CY blog. Here we have Cypress's blog, and I think they mentioned it on the blog. We got keynote speaker. Oh yeah, conference coming up about Cypress. Make sure you check that out. But I wanted to see test replay. Oh, they haven't mentioned it in the blog, so I guess we need to go to Twitter for that one, or I'm just lousy at finding it. But yeah, test replay has been all the rage. Ramona is talking about it. We have met in Berlin recently. It was such a lovely time we had, and a great way to finally meet a fellow Cypress ambassador. And yeah, test replay coming soon. They have this cool graphics for that. I really like that. The cassette sort of retro type ambassadors are hyping it up. Me included. So, so that's what we are going to do today. So yeah. Let's take a look. I want to show you the test replay because I have the early access, and I want to show you like what it is doing because it is quite cool. But what we have also been seeing recently is this sort of emergence of different replay tools, and I have been writing about that as like a next big trend. Maybe that's coming. I don't know. I'm not good at predictions, but I feel like that could be because we see that in Cypress. We see this test replay or replaying trace viewer in Playwright. We see that in some other like developer tools. And I have been playing with a really cool tool that I am a big fan of, and that's Replay.io, which is doing its own thing on replays. And I think that one is actually pretty cool. So we are going to take a bigger look at this because this takes replaying to a whole another level. And I would really love to share that with you. Of course, this prediction that I have made is not an original one. Actually, Gleb Bahmuto has made that in his presentation. I think it was called "Don't Fight Your Tools" or "Don't Battle with Your Tools," something like that. It was like a recent presentation. Maybe I should find it. Let's do that, so I give him credit for that. It was Gleb Bahmuto. Don't fight your tools. Do not fight your testing tools. So it's actually a video from his talk. I watched it. Go watch it as well. I'm going to send that to the chat So you can view that as well. Really cool talk, really nice comparison of what Cypress does, what Playwright does, and he has mentioned replay as well, time travel for the future, and I think he did mention that this is going to be the future. So I get that idea from him. I just wrote a blog post about it. But yeah, let's just jump into it. Let's talk about like what replay is, what different session replay tools are, and how they are beneficial. Why do tools like Playwright and Cypress and even like Currents that I have been mentioning, why do they build that? Why there's a separate tool called Replay.io which has built this replaying capability on its own, and why is it so cool? So let's take a look. So we will start with Cypress. I have this little project, Cypress flakiness debug examples. You can actually find it on my GitHub. And in this project, I'm trying to collect like different flakiness examples. This Google login is not a Google login. It's just a site that looks like a Google login, but it's actually supposed to show a flakiness example. But this first one I want to show you. Let's change the directory to that. Add the cart, npx Cypress open, and let's spin up Cypress so we know what we are talking about when we are talking about replaying tools. Oh, there's nothing running, so let's do that. Npm run dev. Oh, not dev b. There we go. Try again, see if it's running. Okay, it's running. Cool. So let's open Chrome as our browser, and let's take a look at this test. It's actually flaky. Yeah. All right. So here we have an example. We have this app. There's a really cool shoe which you can buy. You can add it to cart. That's about it. That's what this page does. Nothing more, nothing less. So what we have here, we have this timeline. Those of you who know Cypress, who use it, know how awesome and useful this tool is. We run the test, and then what we can do, we can travel back in time and actually examine the application, what it was doing, and not only what the test was doing, but what the application was doing in terms of like network requests and API calls and whatnot. If we click on it and open the console, we can actually see like what the request was, where it went. We have all the power of network panels and console and everything that's inside the Chrome browser or inside Firefox browser or whichever browser we are running Cypress against. So that's really cool. That's what we need. It's super useful if something goes wrong. I think if I run this test a couple of times, it will become flaky. Yeah, exactly. It's going to fail. Look at it. It's going to retry, try again, and it's going to fail again. Is it going to retry a third time? Yeah. So yeah, sometimes tests become flaky. And what that means is that there is some information we are missing. Sometimes I call those black swans. They are it's information that we are not aware of, and that's going to change our understanding of the application. Flakiness, in other words, I like to say it's lack of insight. There is something we are missing. There is something that's making our test flaky. Whether that is inside the test or inside the application, we don't know. But it is something that's making our test result flaky, or even the user experience flaky. So this is where replay tools come in, and we have been familiar with the timeline that we have in Cypress for quite a long time. So this is pretty cool, and now this is becoming part of the Cypress Cloud service as well. Now let me take a look if I actually have this test inside my cloud or not. So one of the cool things about being ambassador is that I get Cypress Cloud for my projects for free. Actually, you can have Cypress Cloud for free as well if you have an open source project. I believe there is some plan for open source, or at least there was. Maybe we should check it out. But let me stay on track because I get sidetracked. So we have this add to cart. There we have it. And we have this archive. And here we go. Yeah, so here we have a new icon, test replay. It's not available in this particular project because I haven't enabled it, but it could become available. So let's make it so. It's available on Cypress version 13. So I need to install that. Now, that version is not yet publicly available. So I need to install that, and I forgot how to do that, but let me just quickly check. I think the answer should be found pretty easily. Oh, I know, I need to find it in my email. Sorry, let's take a look. Here we go. All right. Read the setup guide. Okay. There we go. Okay, so what I need to do is to do npm install, but actually point my installation, to a certain location. So let me just copy that link. Here we go. All right. So let's close Cypress and do npm install and this super long link. So let's take a look. No such file or directory. What's going on? Oh, okay. I guess there are some spaces which should not be there. All right, this looks good. Okay, so now we have installed like the pre-release version of Cypress. So let's do npx Cypress open. And why am I doing npx Cypress open? What we really want is to run this on cloud. What's going on? Got it. All right. So what we really want, we want to run this test now on cloud and see what happens. So let's do that. Let's commit this to upgrade Cypress. Let's commit and push. All right. And on my GitHub, I have actually set my GitHub actions to run my tests, but I do it on workflow dispatch. What that means is that I can trigger this pipeline that I have over here. I can trigger that manually. So I need to go to GitHub, go to my projects. Let me make this bigger so you can see that. Here we go. And now I'm going to Actions tab, and here I have my different projects. So I'm going to run add to cart, run the workflow on the main branch, right? Oh, I have tried Cypress replay. So I guess I did have a replay. Never mind. Let's go all the way. Now you at least see how this can be set up. So right now, when I run my project, when I run my test, what's going to happen, since I have updated Cypress, is going to run the pre-release version, right? So this is the one with the version 13. So when my pipeline goes ahead, installs everything, it's going to run against that version. It's going to record everything because I have set everything up before this stream, and it's going to record to cloud. So let's go to the cloud and see if we can see the replay in action. Let's go here. Add Google login to project, still not running, so we need to wait a little bit. Although I did have a... Hey, here it is. Here I have the branch that I had before, so we actually don't have to wait for the one that I ran right now. So let's click on that. because I do have a branch where I have actually installed Cypress version 13, so I can take a look into that. And let's open the test, add product to cart, and here we go. Here we have the test replay. So I see that this test is actually flaky. It has passed on the second attempt, so I can just take a look at the second attempt if I want to. But if I want to see the full view, I will click on this test replay, and here's where the magic happens. So this is the new feature. All right. So the test replay, what it does, it's basically brings you the same capabilities that you have with npx Cypress Open to the web, to the cloud service. So you can see this looks very, very familiar. As we hover over different states, we can take a look into different states of the application. So we can see the API calls, we can see the assertions, everything that has passed, that has failed. We can play it like a video. And I really like this, that we actually have split the attempts, attempt 1 and attempt 2. So we can go to the second attempt and see how the test actually looked when it passed. So we got all of the timeline information on the left, and then we got all of the network information on the right. So we can take a look at it, and when I clicked on it, it has actually taken me back in time. So it has put me in this 50 milliseconds. So that's pretty neat. So as I continue on, I will see more and more API calls, although there are so many that will happen at the very beginning that it looks like everything appears at once, but of course they don't. So we can see the API endpoint, we can see the request and response, so how the application actually looked, and we can see the errors and fetch SHR, we can see the console, and this is also pretty cool. So we can inspect our elements on this page, right? So this almost looks like a live page, but it's like the same snapshot that we have when we have the Cypress timeline in the npx Cypress Open mode, and yeah, that's what we get. But in order to get to those, we just inspect elements as if we were in a browser, because we still are in a browser. So we can just go right click, inspect, and use the elements panel to inspect different elements. Now, of course, this has grown a little bit too small for us, so let's maybe rearrange this, and this could be a little better. All right. Okay, let's make some space. We can actually view stuff. Here we go. And I can go ahead and maybe take that H2 element with the flamingo down sneakers, and we can inspect that. And yeah, we can inspect different states. So for example, when we travel at the very end of the test, where we actually see the product added to cart, maybe that's kind of hard to see, but there's this product added to cart. That's what we want to happen in this test. We can examine our application at this moment. So what we have in Cypress Replay is, in Cypress Test Replay, is that we have this individual snapshots in the timeline, and we can go back in time, travel, examine everything, plus we get all of the console logs, and we have all of the network logs. And with Cypress version 13, everything this will come packaged as part of the Cypress cloud. I hear there's no extra costs or extra anything added to that, so that's pretty cool. So if you're already using Dashboard, which has been quite useful in the past, at least for me it has, then you get this as a bonus, and I think that's going to greatly improve the experience of the Cypress Cloud service. So I'm a big fan of this change. There has been some rumors like, what's happening with Cypress? Are they moving kind of slow or whatever? This is the answer. They have been working on this for the better part of the year. They're delivering it now, and it looks kind of awesome, to be honest. So yeah, be on alert for that one, because it's pretty cool. All right. So let's now move on. I've seen some people in the chat say no Playwright, no Selenium. We are going to look at Playwright. We're not going to look at Selenium because that would take hours and hours. But yeah, Playwright has its own tool for sort of capturing the state of the application as it's being tested. And I think it's worth examining different tools, making comparisons and seeing how you can work with one and how you can work with the other, because you never know where you will find yourself working. Maybe someday you will have to work with Playwright. Maybe you will quit that job. That's up to you. But yeah, let's take a look at that as well. So we have the application running, and oh my god, I totally forgot how to install Playwright. So let's walk through it together, shall we? Let's go to the docs, installation, and we got npm init Playwright latest. All right, so let's do that. And we're going to add this project to the add to cart, right? Is it okay to proceed? Yes, let's do that. Let's put our test into the test. GitHub action workflow. You know what? Let's actually add it. Playwright browsers. Let's do that. All right. And now what I want to do, I want to take this Cypress test that I have here and basically just take this to the Playwright and do the same set of actions inside the Playwright test. Okay, happy hacking. We got the GitHub action. All right, we're going to change that in a moment, but let's do test examples we don't really want. Let's do tests. We got the example, and what we want to do is we want to add a product to a cart. And then we want to visit the page. So that's going to be await page go to. Let's do that. All right. Then is there a wait in Playwright? I don't know. Then we want to, let's rewrite this. Await page. Let's find by text. Get by text. Here we go, add to cart. Click, I believe it's the same. And then we want to get by text. And we actually want to expect this thing to be visible. Expect to visible. Wait, I have something wrong with my parentheses. Yeah, extra parentheses here. Here we go. To be visible. All right, that didn't hurt, did it? Hey, we wrote a Playwright test in this in this very Cypressy channel. Oh, but I didn't add the wait. Never mind. I'm actually going to leave it here. Or can I? Where's the documentation? How do I wait? Auto waiting, waiting for event, wait experimental Android device. Maybe it's timeout? Timeouts. Test timeout, expect timeout. No, that's configuration. That's timeout, like how long should the test wait? Is there maybe a sleep? Eliminate sleep time as, yeah, that's what we want. But I had it in my Cypress test, and I will get to that because it's actually a point that I want to make during this stream. But okay, let's just leave it out. Maybe I can just add a set timeout. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Let's do that. So, all right. So I cannot say it's a favorite thing, but it's really cool what Playwright has added. And I actually had Debbie on this stream. If you haven't seen our conversation, go ahead, check out this channel. We have been streaming back in March, I believe, when this UI mode in Playwright came out. So it's a very similar thing. I think it had a lot of inspiration from Cypress, or at least the fact that something like this is needed. I think we can give credit to Cypress for coming up with this. I don't think anyone in Playwright would be mad about this. Hopefully not. But yeah, there is a UI tool for Playwright right now, which you can trigger just the way I've shown you. So npx playwright test --UI. So it's similar to Cypress open mode. And what it does, it will give you like this overview of all of your tests, and then you can just go ahead and click play and run them. Now, of course, page go to / I didn't specify the base URL, so I guess I need to do that. But yeah, you can play your test, and by default, Playwright is going to run all of the browsers. Not sure if I really want to do that. How do I set it up? Here we go. Let's just do Chromium and run that. And now that's only going to run Chromium. I think so. I think that's how you set this up. Not sure if that filter is just going to filter out information, or is that actually going to run everything. But oh yeah, it's actually going to run just the things I have filtered. So okay, so let's go back to the test. Let's go back to the Playwright config and define our base URL. And you can see there are like many similarities. It's just like when you work with that, sometimes you just find yourself like you need to search in a different place for a thing to be set up. And where is the base URL? Base URL. Oh, here we go. Use base URL. Now, for me, it is a little bit confusing to try to navigate myself through everything, but yeah, it's just like me after several years of running Cypress, trying to get used to this. So let's do localhost 3000, and that should hopefully work. Let's run this. Here we go. Flaming and Dawn sneakers. We got those, and our test is failing. So how do I set a retry on this one? Retries. Okay, so if we are on, here we go. This is the option. So we are going to retry on CI only, but I'm going to set it up for both CI and for the other views. So if our test fails, is it going to retry now? Oh, it didn't. So I don't know if that retries to, that comment is no longer valid, but it didn't retry. Not sure why is that so. Maybe I need to rerun. Although I didn't have to do that for the base URL change, so I don't know what's that about. Let's see if we can make it retry as product, run it. It runs. No, it still fails. I don't know. Like, this is not the fault of the tool. It's fault of me not being able to use it. So yeah. Oh, someone wrote the page wait for timeout. Thank you so much for that wait. So let's do, yeah, page. Do I need to do a wait? I don't think I do, right? If it's a just wait for timeout. Let's see if I can run this again with the 3-second timeout. Unexpected character. What did I do? Page. I have to do a wait. I guess I do. Okay. Let's run this. No, unexpected character. Did I actually like add some character that's not supposed to be there? Here's like a character. Okay, I guess when I copied that, there wasn't like a real space, but some weird white space. No? Still nothing? Like it says there's like the character. You can see the error message, you can see the code, but I like don't see where that's coming from. Unexpected character and like nothing. So I'm not sure what's that about, but the timeout is not working. Wait, do I have like a weird white spaces here? No, it feels like this is all good. So maybe I just restart this. I don't know how this works. Sorry about that. Let's run it. Run it. No, still nothing. Yeah, it is weird. I have no idea as well why this is a thing. But let's maybe jump into documentation. See this wait for timeout. Wait for timeout page. Here we go. This discouraged. Okay, it is discouraged. That we know. Page wait for timeout 1 second. Timeout to wait for. But like, if I save this, run it, still nothing. Still complaining about unexpected character. Let's just delete this. Try to run it. Will that work? That is working. So I don't know what the hell is going on. Now it is working. The test is failing as expected, but like when I do the await timeout, for some reason it's complaining. Let's make this bigger. Oh no, wait. Now it works. Okay, so I guess there was some unexpected character. I don't know. Again, not the fault of the tool. It's just the fault of something weird happening. I guess I did add some weird character there, but I don't know what that was. Anyway, we're talking about replay tools, so let's go back to that one. All right. So I did add this timeout because if I don't add it, the test actually becomes flaky. It's going to create all sorts of problems, and we will get to that. We will examine them. But I just want to do a quick overview of what we are doing. So this UI view, when we are running tests in Playwright, we get this view as well. So we can see when we go to the page how that looked after we finished opening the page. We wait for the timeout. We can see highlighting of the different things, and we can see all of the actions that we did. So that's pretty cool. We can travel back in time, and this is going to provide us with some insight into what the application is actually doing. Now, what I don't see here, but maybe I just don't know where to look, is, oh, pick locator, nice. Network. Here we go. Here we have it. So we do have the same information. We do have the network information. We do have the console information, and we have some other context on the command as well, which we also have in Cypress, by the way. If you open the console and click on any item on the timeline, it will print out information into the timeline. Super useful, super great. It's awesome. If you are not using it, you have to. You're not using Cypress correctly if you don't open the console. It's very important. So yeah. So again, this is going to provide us with some insight into what our test was doing, what our application was doing at the time it was being interacted with. Now, if I close this and don't run my test in UI mode, then Playwright is going to do its thing. By default, it's going to run 3 browsers to show us that it's going to run in 3 browsers. But after that, as the test finishes, it's going to give us information on how that test went. And we can examine that information. And again, we have some traces of what has been happening on each and every step. I thought this had some video image as well. Well, wait, so this is just test result. This is not the trace viewer that we were that I was hoping to see. Trace viewer. Okay, we got that. How to record a trace on first retry, we do that. All right, and so let's do npx test trace on to run the trace viewer. Actually, do we have that somewhere? Oh, here we go. Here we have the trace opened. So let's do trace zip. What do we do with that? Should have looked into the documentation. Opening the HTML report, that's cool. That's okay. And will the report be, the HTML report shows a report of all your tests, blah, blah, blah. Filtered, flaky, start clicking on, okay. You can also click open the detailed view of the test and scroll down to the traces tab and open. Oh, was it actually there and I missed that? So if I go here, we have test steps. We don't have traces anywhere. So let's run that command, npx playwright test trace on, and see what happens. Npx playwright show report. Let's do that. Oh, here we go. Here we have the trace. And yeah, voila, that's it. That's what we wanted to see. So Playwright automatically generates this report where you can see all of the steps that it has been doing. And then we have the trace, which essentially is the same thing as the UI view that we have in the UI mode. So it's pretty much the same UI view experience. We can travel back in time, examine what's been happening, and then we have the console and network panel and source and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. All right. So again, we can travel back in time. Very important feature, very useful. And we can examine what the test was doing. Now, there has been a Cypress debugger released a couple of months ago, I believe. And it's kind of doing a similar thing, but it does it in a very different way. So the way what it does is that you can install it in Cypress, and I hear it's compatible with Playwright as well. You can install it as a plugin, and then when you run your test, you can you basically get like a file that's going to record everything that your test was doing in like a headless mode, in the npx Cypress run mode, and that would like provide you with very similar information on as you would get on the test replay. Now let's take a look if we can set this up real quickly, because I do want to take a look into replay.io because I do want to blow your minds. Because that thing is a whole another league, and yeah, so let's do npm install Cypress debugger, then do this bunch of stuff on the config. What we have here, debugger plugin. All right, let's take a look. Config. All right. Debugger plugin. We of course need to import that. All right. And we need to add that to the E2E file as well. So let's go to Cypress, E2E, not E2E support, and this one. Here we go. Everything set up. Usage. Configure the plugin as documented above. Use callback to fetch location of the replay file. Get the test information from the dump directory relative to Cypress configuration file. npx Cypress run browser Chrome. Let's see. So when I do npx Cypress run browser Chrome, that's going to run my tests in a very standard mode. We have a purple C in here, through an error, unable to compile TypeScript, blah, blah, blah. I guess in the config file we have some weirdness going on. Oh yeah, I didn't add that correctly. Let's just comment this out for a moment. Try again, npx browser Chrome. Okay, we are running. So let's see what happens here. All right, we get a retry. That's okay. That's expected. Oh, it has failed. Never mind. Let's see. It's actually good because the replays, session replays, and test replays, and all kinds of replays are there to help us like get some understanding, get some information on why the test has failed. So having a failed test is actually good for us in this particular case. Now, what the package has promised us to do was to give us this dump thing, right? Dump directory. Use the callback function to fetch the location of a replay file. So, like, where is that? Did it write it somewhere? I guess it did. Replay event failed with following error. Replay event was not handled in a setup node events method. Okay, so it hasn't. The following tasks. Okay, so I guess I need to assign a task to that. No, wait. Following tasks are registered. Replay event was not handled in node events method. So I guess what this is trying to do is to like give us something, but I don't know like how it's going to provide us with that information. Debugger plugin, meta key value. So this would be example plugin debugger plugin install Cypress debugger. So is this like the example of what we want to do? Because I just copied this without reading as a normal programmer would. and just didn't look at it. But this is an example of what? API plugin. What do we have here? Debugger plugin. I mean, this looks good. Let's return debugger plugin. E2E reports. Let's see if that's going to, if we're going to have more luck with that one. But the principle here is, I believe, if I understand this correctly, this plugin is just going to like take all of the commands in Cypress and sort of just like add something to them. And that addition is going to be some meta information about where the test was, what the snapshot was at the moment, and it's just going to dump all of that information into a folder. Now, for some reason, I cannot get it added because this is complaining that the task replay event was not. Oh, okay, I know why that is. It's because I actually have commented out the replay here. So I have replay IO set up on this one, and not on the. Yeah, I need to hide this replay IO. This is why that is failing, because I'm using two different replay tools right now. Let's try that again. Hopefully we'll get somewhere with this. And here we go. All right. So, hey, there we are. We have the reports folder. Here it is. We have the spec, and now we got this weird, super long JSON file that's containing all of the information. So what we do now with this is that we need to take this file and dump it into somewhere. Wait, where is it? There was like a web that you would dump it into, so you can actually view this JSON in the view. Oh, here it is, cypressdebugger.dev. So let's open this in Reveal Finder. Let's take a look, drag and drop. And here we go. And here we have the view of what's happening. So we can go ahead one by one, take a look at what's happening inside the test. We can take a look at the before after. All right, so that's cool. For some reason, it doesn't show the image. Not sure why that is. I guess when you take snapshots, it's just not going to take that information. It's very much in beta, I believe, this feature. And yeah, but this is how that works. So if you are interested in this like slightly messy, but I guess working example of a test replay, you can do that. I don't see any network here though. So there's the network panel. But okay. So it does show the network. So that's good. It doesn't show the video. Oh, it does show the... Okay, so we have some kind of video. Obviously, this is not a video, but sort of a player of different snapshots, which you can like replay in this view. And yeah, that's it. So that's what we can do. It's pretty cool, but yeah, you have the additional step of like taking this JSON file, uploading it, and then examining that. So essentially, that cloud service that you have with Cypress is going to do. You're going to have like an additional step to your flow. Now, so far we have looked at Cypress test replay, trace viewer in Playwright, and the currents, this whatever this is, it's what's it called? I forgot. Cypress debugger. Cypress debugger. What Cypress debugger has, it has this experience for Playwright as well, apparently. But I'm not going to get into setting this up. That would take quite a long time. What I want to show you, and I have been waiting for this to show you at the last, because I believe this is like the coolest experience to have in terms of test replay, and that's replay.io. So I have shown in a video what replay.io is. You can actually find this on my YouTube channel, and I start off by saying it's many things, because it is many things and it gives you variety of options. The easiest way to understand is that it is a browser with some special capabilities, and those special capabilities can be used in different ways. So what you can do is you can download this browser, open your application, and just start testing manually, right? You start testing manually, you'll find a bug, and you will get a recording. But not only the video, but the session replay as well, like we have just seen in Cypress, Playwright, and Currents, right? But it's actually much more, because you don't only get insight to your test, but you get insight into your source code, and not only like view the source code, but actually examine what the source code is doing. So I have already downloaded the replay browser. So let me show you what it is capable of. Here we go. I think I had like a nice small example in here. Wait, nope, that's not it. I had an example. Hey, you know what? Let's record an example. Let's just go through the whole experience. So I have my application running in localhost right here, and I will hit this record button, refresh my browser, and then just start interacting with the application, do something over here, add to cart, whatever, right? Then I stop with this, and I get a recording. So let's call this stream live recording, which is a couple of confusing terms together. And now we have, now what we have is this nice replay. So we'll wait a moment for it to be processed. But what we will end up with at the end is like a trace viewer for our manual testing, right? So that's what we can do. So if you're a manual tester, then you can have this experience as well. But this would not be enough, right? This is a cool video and examining of different steps. You can add some comments, right? So you can go ahead, inspect element. Oh, nothing. I actually wanted to add a comment and say something like this is wrong or whatever. Ring, never mind. But what you can actually do if you are a developer, or if you're not a developer but you want to send it to a developer, you can share this recording with them. Just copy URL, send it to them. And then what they will get as an experience is like Chrome DevTools or Firefox DevTools in here, but for a recording that has already happened. So what that means is that when you decide to debug something, not only you can go through what the user was doing, you can actually take a look into the code. So I can go to a file and, for example, take a look at the what would be the component? There are some components like, yeah, product info. And here I can see the source code of the component. But wait for it. This is where it becomes really cool, because you can go ahead and add a print statement, sort of like a console log in here. And what ends up happening inside this console panel is you can see how many times this line of code has been called. Now, what this enables you to do is to add your own information, like hello there, which is fun, but not really useful. But if we actually get to debugging what's been happening in our application, and let me find a better example of what we can do. So maybe this message component could be cool. Can take a look at this visibility. Maybe, yeah, something like that. So let's think. So we have this property. We have this like message props, and we can see that the message has the property of visibility that can either be true or false. So what this handles is this message that's like down below here, right? And this visibility, if we add it to the print statement, if we add it to the console log, we can actually see throughout the application, throughout the test run, when it was set to true or and when it was set to false. Now, for some reason, I don't see it set to false ever, but I don't want to dig deep into that. What I wanted to show you is the fact that with this one, you have not only the test actions, but you actually have the source code as well. And not only source code, like you can read it, but you can actually like interact with it. So by adding this plus button and printing something in here, you can actually like follow the flow of the information. So for example, if we have information from the network panel, from the network, right? We call an API, it will come back, and then our front end will process that information, maybe filter out or print out something or whatever. And as the state changes, you can just follow information on how that state has changed throughout the flow. Now, I mentioned in the beginning that this is a browser. So what you can do with this browser is you can use it in your test. So that's where this becomes super extra cool. So in my Cypress tests, what I can do when I want to run something, right? I can go npx Cypress run -- browser and then choose browser which I want to run against. I can do that locally, but I can do that on GitHub Actions, right? And I have set up this action, and again, this is something I have on GitHub, so feel free to check it out. What I can do, I can choose Replay browser. So over here, I have a Replay Chromium browser. So Replay actually has two versions now, Replay Firefox and Replay Chromium. And I can set my Cypress run to run with this browser. After this step, after this Cypress run finishes, so after we are done with the test, we will upload the replays. So Replay will, that browser will record everything that's happening inside the app, just as we saw right now. But your test will actually be doing those actions, and then upload that recording to your replay browser here. So there's this nice dashboard in here where you can examine different test runs. So as I do that, as I run my test against GitHub Actions, I can go ahead, and here I have my upgrade Cypress. If you were here at the beginning of this stream, you know I made a commit. I wanted to like test Cypress version 13, so I did upgrade Cypress and I ran the test. Now if I click on it, I can see the test that's been over here. I can examine it, and here I will get a very similar experience to the trace viewer or the test replay that's coming with version 13. Although it is different, right? So there are some similarities. So first of all, like the first obvious similarity is that we have this timeline. So we can do all that. We can examine our application, what it has been doing at a certain point of the test. We can do the before after, we can play with the videos, and we can see the test being ran. So that's pretty sweet. But also what we can do, as I mentioned, we have these DevTools, and we have all of the information from the application as well. So we have the whole source code. So for example, what we can do, we can go ahead and maybe take a look at, I don't know, button, add to cart button. So this is a React component that has certain actions. For example, when we click on that button, it will do some action. So that's going to actually be handled by a parent component. But there is this on-click listener. So this button will actually listen on a click. So what we can do here is, since we have a combination of our test information and our source code information, we can, of course, go ahead, examine our source code. But since they are interconnected, what we can do, for example, when we are on this click, we can go ahead, jump to code, and this will take us to the exact moment, to the exact place, or the exact part of code that has been like triggered as the test was doing the click. So that I think is pretty sweet. If you want to debug flakiness in your application, then this is going to provide you with some really cool information. So for example, and I have, again, this is something I mentioned in my previous video. If we go back to our test, and go to this spec file, we have this weight over here, which is supposed to be tackling our flakiness. Because when we open the application, when we open this shoe product view, and we add to cart, sometimes we get an error. We get an error that says failed to add product to cart, right? And we don't know why that is. Well, actually, we do know why that is. It's because our test is moving too fast. And this is often the case with tools like Cypress and Playwright, because they are just too darn fast. That's why we love them, right? But what this also causes is that it adds some flakiness to our test. For example, this page is not yet ready to be interacted with. So what can we do? I mean, yeah, we can add a wait, but as you can see, we still have failed tests, so that didn't help. So what do we do? Do we add 10 seconds to that? Do we add 100 seconds to that? I don't think so. That's probably not the best way to go about that. Now, if we were to examine our application with each of these tools that we had, the trace viewer from Playwright and test replay from Cypress, that will give us some information. So let me actually go back to that, right? Let's go ahead, go to cloud, and go take a look at the test replay. So let's take a look. So if I take a look into this test, wait, where's my test replay? Wait, I upgraded Cypress, what's going on? Never mind, I will go to the other branch where I know I have that replay and open that. And as we examine our application, we can see that there are some API calls, and the naming of the API calls can actually give us some useful information. So, for example, we see that there's a API add to cart. We want to add this item to our cart. We're clicking on this button, and after we click that, that API call is being made, but it returns an error 40, right? 400, right? There's something wrong with that. So if we click on that and maybe examine what the response is, so let's take a look. Where is that? XHR, add to cart, here we go. Do we get information? Yeah, here it is. We can see that we are sending this request body. Let's take a look at the response. It's just going to say 400. So obviously, something's wrong. And just logically taking a look at it, you can see that we are sending add to cart quantity 0. So we actually want to add 0 items to the cart, which is probably the source of our error. The response says 40, not much more information, which if you work in software development, you know that can be the case. Ideally, we want to provide more information, but this is all we got, right? So let's blame the developer, right? No, not really. Yeah, so we get the error, and just looking at the test, we know that this is probably like the cause of all the trouble, right? Because if we look a little bit further, we can see that there's another API call, and that's check availability. So that endpoint is going to check whether the product is even available in the cart. And that one is going to give us information on, do we have it here? Like how many items we actually have. So we have the available, it's true, and we have a quantity of 1. So last sneaker is available. But we try to add it to the cart even before we have that endpoint information. So normally what you would do as a Cypress tester, you're going to, okay, we're not going to do explicit waiting. That's not what we want, right? We want to go and do intercept. And we want to do what was it called? Check availability, right? API / check availability endpoint. And then after we visit that, we first want to wait for that. Oh, I forgot to alias it, right? As availability. Probably a million of typos here, but never mind. I just copied and pasted it. And this is what you would do, right? We just wait for that endpoint to finish, and then we move on to the test, which is not bad by any means. But there is a little problem with that. Since our application will load like this, it will load, check availability, and then when we do that, the add to cart button can actually be interacted with. That's an experience that real users can have. If you have user with a slower internet or slower CPU, this could happen to a real user, and they don't know why they're not able to add a product to a cart, right? They don't notice that. They just get an error, they leave your store, and you're losing money. So that's no good. So it's probably not the best way to find out what's happening. But if you take a look, if you take not only your test to be flaky into account, but you take a look into the source code as well, you can actually examine what this add to cart and what the check availability will actually do. So there is a availability component. So let's do product availability, and it's going to behave differently, right? So if we are available, not available, is going to show that, but I don't believe I wanted to see that. Oh, what we get from the availability is the quantity. So there's this quantity control. So maybe that will help us. So let's do quantity control. Increment, decrement. That's good. We have the quantity number, and let's add a print statement. Let's take a look into like what the quantity is during our test. So let's do quantity. Will this give us information? I'm just like doing live coding right now with you. And yeah, here we go. So as you can see, this quantity, like the number that we eventually end up sending to the cart with the endpoint, the add to cart, right? That's actually changing. So by default is set to 0 because as we are loading the page, we don't know what the state is. But as we load the page, we get the real data from the server, like how many items we actually have in cart. But if we click on that button at the point where this is still 0, then we are going to get in trouble. And this is actually what is causing our test. So taking the whole picture, not taking only the test, but taking the source code into it as well, is going to help you greatly. So what we should have been doing with this is not to change our test actually, but to change our application. Because there is this, where is it? Disabled element, no, add to card button props. Let's find this. Here we go. So here we have the element that's going to add to cart, right? When we click on the add to cart, this is going to trigger that API endpoint. It's listening on click, it's going to do some action. So what we should be doing here is that we should disable this button for our user before they are able to click on it. So when that check availability until it comes back, that button should be disabled, or we should have some kind of loading in place or some signal to the user that the page is not ready. Because if the test that we are running doesn't know that, there's a good chance that our users don't know that as well. And yeah, I kind of love this because we are getting more insight into what is causing our flakiness. We're not only staying at the side of the test, but we're actually taking account the developer side, the code side into the picture as well, right? So when we are talking about flaky tests, we should really be talking about flaky application as well. And it has been one of my points in the keynote that I have done earlier this year, test like a developer, develop like a tester, that developers should definitely take flakiness into account when it comes to testing. And I believe this kind of approach, where you get both of the worlds, where you get the nice trace viewer with all of the information from the test, but you also get all of the information from the application as well, that's going to be the future. That's going to work really well if you want to really get an understanding of what's happening in your app, get an understanding of what's happening in your test, marry that together and write really stable, really good test, and as a result, write a really stable application. So yeah, that's been kind of the main message I wanted to tell you today. Go check out Replay. Try it either on your own with your manual approach, or hook it up to your Cypress tests or your Playwright test if you want to, and try it out. Try to see how the communication between your test code and your source code works. Examine that. Take your developers into the group and talk to them and examine that together. Because honestly, if you capture your test or your bug with this recording and you share that with the developer, they actually have like all of the tools that they need in order to debug. Even better, because not only we have source code, we actually have interactive source code that we can take a look into. We can add a print statement. We can just trace the information back to what was happening, and get some more insight. So yeah, let's. I've been sort of ignoring the chat for a while because I've been on a rant with Replay, but I really wanted to share this with you because it's quite cool. But let's take a look if we have any question. Oh yeah, well, where can I take a look at the add to cart project? Let me share the link to the repository in the chat. I'm very glad you're interested in that because it's really cool. So let's take a look. Cypress flakiness examples. Here you go. Very nice dev experience for writing tests and debugging. Yeah, indeed. It's really cool. So I hope you check it out. All right. We have been going for over an hour. I think that's good enough. You can expect me to do this like short live streams a little bit more, hopefully. And I will be talking about Replay because I'm a big fan. I will be talking about different comparisons of what each tool can do and what it provides you with. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll stay in touch. So thank you everyone for coming. I enjoyed being back and see you next time. Hopefully, maybe next week. We'll see. All right. Bye everyone.